All these lights are going on this Baron that we rescued that have been sitting for 15 years. So in this box we have our tail beacon light. Then we have our recognition lights, which will be complementing our landing lights. We have our tail position light. We have our nav and strobe lights. And then we have our great landing and taxi lights, all LED. You can go to flywatt.com or check them out at aeromachwheelco.com to get yours for your airplane. Example of an LED light and the old incandescent light. All right, here's the view from the front of the airplane. I mean, you can just look at the difference in the, I don't know if you see my finger, but this pattern and then this pattern, how much brighter that LED light is. But that is a really good example of what we used to have and now what we have with the Wheeling. Alright, I'm taking the old beacon off, and really it's 3 screws here on the front and the side you have to take off, and then the beacon pulls out, and then there's a screw in the very bottom. That's the grounding screw, and you just unscrew it and then this whole system comes out, and then all you have to do is this little plug right here. We will actually solder it onto the white LED light and put us a new clamp on there, new fitting there, and then hook it back up and screw it back in, and that's literally all there is to putting a new, very bright beacon on. I mean, it's that simple. All right, we are about to turn on the beacon for the first time. Oh, look how bright it is. God. I mean, don't look at it with your eyes, because I'm still seeing an LED light. Hey, but look, we have a beacon, and you can see that son of a gun. Look at that. Look how bright it is. This is daylight inside of a hangar, and it's good. All right, now we're going to be replacing the the taxi light, and we're using the white Prometheus G3s, and it is super simple to change these out. You basically have 4 screws. They have a nut on the back side. You just take those off, and then on the back side of your light you have 2 wires, a hot and a ground. Unscrew the little flathead screwdriver or screws on that, put the new wires back on your LED and put it back in there, and you're done. So 5 minutes and you're done. Well, it's supposed to be 5 minutes. Now that we have the nuts and bolts out, and the nut on the back side is really small. It's like a 7/32, I think. Yeah, 7/32. And you're going to need a pair of pliers also, because you can't reach this bottom right one with a ratchet. So now we got that loose, we're going to take our wires loose. And this is also a great time to inspect your wires and make sure that there's no frays and cuts in them and things like that. All right, so on this airplane, it doesn't have a black and a white wire to tell you which one's hot and which one's not. On LED lights, you are going to have a positive and a negative. So there's two ways to figure out which wire's which. One, you can just hook it up and hope that you've got it right. And if you didn't, then just flip-flop them. You're not going to hurt the light. The other way is just to use a voltmeter, ground it and hit. And that's 24 volts, and then this one's going to be 0. Yep. So pistons are hot. We'll hook that up, and that's it. All right, that's on. Now we just gotta put it back in the bezel and go from there. But I mean, look how bright that is. Woo. All right. All right. Well, the new light is on. It took 19 minutes. Yeah, cut it on. It's gonna be a lot brighter. I can't wait to see this thing at nighttime.
I know it. Absolutely.
All right. 19 minutes. I had to go get a couple more tools. You're gonna need a pair of pliers, flathead, Phillips head screwdriver, a 7/32 ratchet. Yep, 7/32. And then the hardest part was to get the nuts that are weighed down in here. Other than that, it's pretty daggum easy. Now we're going to be putting the landing light on. All right, so what we're doing now is we're just going ahead and taking our landing light lens off. We've removed this panel here, and we're going to have this panel off so that we can actually run a wire connecting our landing light with our recognition light. So we're going to be doing this side just like we did the other side. We're going to be taking the strobe off and the nav off here, and then painting this black. And then we'll be installing our STC kit that we bought from Aeromock Wilco that has the new nav light LED combination, and then also has a recognition light right here that shines forward that will complement the landing light. So
Jonathan, do me a favor. Make sure you get me on video turning a screwdriver for all my viewers out there that think I actually don't know what I'm doing or what I'm talking about.
what's a screwdriver? See, this is proof he knows how to.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit.
I did have to tell him righty tighty, lefty loosey, but other than that.
I got it.
All right, so on this stuff right here, it's just an Allen wrench. Take these out. I think we'll need these two again. You're not going to need these. And then just a Phillips head, we'll take that out. All right, so we've removed all this fun stuff here. We had to drill out that little screw there. That's part of it. I mean, this is going to be corroded. You can tell that this is the end that really got that morning sun coming in there. This is just coming out, so we're going to take a little Scotch Brite pad, and I'll go in here and get all this stuff out and make it nice and clean. And then I will either just spray it, or I will go back over there and put some more primer on it, and then paint it black. And so we're gonna make this side look just like the other and have it all blacked out. So your strobe lights, to hook those up, you got to come to the back of the airplane back here, and then underneath the little baggage compartment here is this little box. This is your strobe. This is what makes the 24 volts go into the things that'll shock the ever-living crap out of you. So you got to remove this, and then what we're going to do, instead of running like new wires, because that's going to take absolutely like forever, because as you can tell, let's see if I can get this light down here, this wire here, that's the strobe light for the back tail recognition light, and it'd be a pain in the butt to change it out, not to mention the ones that are in the wings that you have to chase out, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So each of these wires, ooh, that is very bright. Each of these wires have 3 regular wires in it, and what we're going to do is we're just going to use those to run our LED strobe lights. And so we'll use one for the power, one for the ground, and then one to actually have them all synced in, so that when the wings flash, they'll all be going at the same time, including the tail. So like it'll be 3 lights flash and then all 3 lights, instead of it being all random and weird looking. So that's the easiest way to do it. Now if you want to run brand new wires through here, knock yourself out, but that's a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do is finish taking this out, and then we will tie all of our wires in right here. And this little wire here, this is going to be our main power wire. So when you flip the switch on up in the cockpit for the strobes, it sends 24 volts down through this little wire here, and that's how we're going to tie everything in. Alright guys, well, it's been a couple of days since we were installing these lights, and it is much warmer now too. It's like 75 degrees. It's only been a few days, and that's typical Alabama stuff for you. So we ran into a problem when we were hooking up the lights over here. Our strobe lights weren't working, so we weren't getting power to the end. We even tried wringing the wires out, still nothing, which is kind of weird. I thought, well, maybe the cannon plug, that's in the wing, came undone. And so let me show you where that is, just in case any of y'all are actually wondering. So you actually have to look up in the wheel well, and it's actually behind your part of your gear door, and it's back up in there, and it's just a little cannon plug. So I checked that out, and well, everything was connected properly. Everything was tight, wasn't working. So I don't know why we couldn't get the wires to ring out or anything like that. I ended up checking our connection in the back of the airplane down in here to make sure that all this was correct, and it is. And then I took a voltmeter back out to the wing and just started putting it on all the wires while the strobe lights were on. And I found that, so inside the airplane, we have our ship power hooked up to the red and white candy cane looking wire for our runner height to our strobe lights. Works great on the left wingtip, no problem. And so I did the same here, thinking no problem. So it's hooked up to the red inside the airplane. However, who knows when, they pinned it incorrectly at the cannon plug. So we have red going to the cannon plug, and then from the cannon plug to the tip of the wing, it goes to the blue and white wire. So I spent probably 3 or 4 hours trying to figure that out, and then Matt was also here, and we probably spent a good hour and a half trying to figure that out. So we've wasted almost 5 hours with this simple wire issue, but I am about to finish this up, about to get it back installed. Again, install these first and leave them loose, and then what you'll do is you'll just kind of cup that in there, and then you see right here, is our longer bolts with the big spacer, and those will go here, and there's one on the bottom too. Once you get that in, you tighten these down, and then you'll tighten these down, and then that's done. Then you put on that. So I painted all my brackets black and the inside black, just because I'm thinking of how it's going to look in the hopefully the near future of actually when we start painting this airplane. Our paint scheme is going to be kind of a little bit darker, some grays and some blacks and some other colors and stripes and things like that. So pre-planning a little bit. Make sure that your bracket is seated all the way forward. That kicks this lot out just a little bit so that it's not catching here, and it's, you know, you already have a landing light that's going straight out. You don't want this one to go totally straight. Also, you want it kind of to be off cambered a little bit. So make sure those are seated in all the way. If you're looking for a good cleaner for your plexiglass, Jetstream has a plexiglass cleaner, and is designed just for plexiglass, and specifically plexiglass that goes on airplanes. So if you need a good thing to clean your plexiglass, reach out to the guys at Jetstream, get some of their stuff. You can also get it at Aeromock Wilco. And so it's the little details like remembering to clean this out before you put it on that'll save you in the long run. I also use that cleaner on our landing light lenses also. All right, so now we are going to install the tail light, and this is a nav and strobe combination light. And so on the tail here, the factory bracket is like this big, and I had to have one that size. So I took my drill. There's 4 rivets that hold this plate on. You drill those rivets out and make you another plate. It's not hard. I went to Lowe's, picked up a piece of aluminum, traced the outside out, cut it out, drilled this hole out with a step bit from Harbor Freight, and then lined the light up and got my 2 holes and drilled the holes. And then you can either rivet that plate back on, or you can take some stainless steel screws here with a lock nut on the back side and put it on. And that's what I've done. So that's pretty daggum easy. And now we're about to connect all this up. So we already have our blade connectors. This is the factory hookup cannon plug, and so we just put knife connectors on the end of this. This is our nav light. We put the knife connectors or handshake connectors, whatever you want to call them, on the end of there with the factory plug there. That gets us from here all the way to here. That way we're not having to like reach up in there and trying to hook up lights. So when you take this loose, make sure you keep it so that you can not have to struggle with short wires. Short wires are never good. One thing you might want to do too is consult your manual. All right, what I like about the white lights is it actually has on here what the wires need to be. So black is going to be the ground. This orange is going to be the position light. So it'll actually connect to this one. And then white is going to be your anti-collision, which will be the red over here. And then the orange is going to be the yellow is going to be the sync wire. So the sync wire, what it does is it connects our 2 wingtip strobes and our tail strobe, and so that all 3 will be pulsating at the same time. You don't have to do that. You can leave it to where it's just all, you know, random, but I like for my stuff to be kind of all together. So for the knife connectors, they look like this, and then they're going to actually kind of cross like this. See if it'll focus. And then they will interlock with each other like this, so that there's no way to come loose unless they actually break 90 degrees. So that's easy enough. Strobe, come on. All right, so let's hit nav. Yep, you can see it came on. Now let's hit strobe. It's strobing.